without any further ado, I'd like to introduce to you, please give a warm welcome to Larry Fulton, Eagle Scout.
Thank you, Mr. Norris, for that introduction. As Mr. Norris mentioned, I was asked to speak for a few minutes about my experience with the Boy Scouts of America. And so I'm just going to start by mentioning that my mom recently came across a report from my preschool teacher. It said that I was doing fine in school, but that sometimes I'd like to be the boss of everybody. My parents said that the report shows that I've always had some sort of natural leadership tendencies, which is a really nice way of looking at it, but that I obviously need some lessons in what leadership really means and how to be more effective. They said to me that each and every one of us is born with a God-given gift or a talent, and that these gifts can really indicate what our purpose is in life. So, naturally, each person should try to figure out how to use his or her talent to fulfill that purpose. So, according to my parents, that preschool report, as well as some other early evidence, seemed to suggest that I was born with natural leadership tendencies, that I needed to learn how to develop so that I could do whatever work I was put here on earth. So, by now some of you may be wondering, well, that's great, but why does this happen with scouting? Well, let me tell you that one of the most important ways that the Boy Scouts of America have impacted my life is by providing me with opportunities to learn leadership skills and then actually practice those skills in meaningful settings. For instance, I've learned a great deal about leadership through, as Mr. Norris mentioned, 2 years of participation in NYLT, which stands for the Boy Scouts National Youth Leadership Training Program. I've learned that leadership doesn't quite mean being the boss of everybody. Rather, it's the ability to influence a group of people, to maximize their efforts to accomplish a common goal. I've learned that leadership requires vision, it requires goals, planning, and a toolbox of other skills, such as developing a team vision, resolving conflicts, making ethical decisions, valuing people, and setting smart goals. Goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. But scouting hasn't just opened the doors to numerous opportunities to learn leadership skills, such as a classroom environment like NYLT. It's also provided me with those meaningful settings to actually practice leadership through serving in various positions in my troop, such as troop guide, patrol leader, and senior patrol leader, the highest rank of leadership a scout can achieve within his troop. But leadership certainly isn't the only focus of scouting, because scouting has so many exciting ways to accommodate the diverse interests of all of its participants, namely through the Merit Badge program, one of the hallmarks of the Boy Scouts of America. The wide range of merit badges allows scouts to learn about everything, from entrepreneurship and engineering to metalwork and carpentry. Through the process of earning merit badges, scouts learn real-life skills that prepare them to be more responsible adults and better citizens. For example, the personal management merit badge requires scouts to keep a budget for 3 consecutive months and to understand what factors affect when and how people spend their money. The merit badge also requires scouts to understand the advantages and the disadvantages in investing in different things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and insurances, and to understand and actually implement credit management and time management plans. So I'm sure we can all see how exposing America's youth to these types of concepts in a safe and educational environment at such a young age could really positively impact their future and impact their lives in the future. And just think, personal management is just one of over 100 merit badges that the Boy Scouts can earn under the guidance of a qualified adult. Now, although Scouts don't need to earn every single merit badge to achieve the rank of Eagle Scout, as was mentioned, that's the highest rank available in Scouting, the merit badges most central to the mission of the Boy Scouts of America are all required for each and every single Eagle Scout. That means in addition to earning the requirements for personal management merit badge, I also had to learn the necessary skills for and satisfy requirements for 20 other merit badges in order to achieve the rank of Eagle Scout. These were merit badges like citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, family life, personal fitness, environmental science, and then communications merit badge. Truthfully, merit badge work has been exciting and it's been enriching, and I've already seen the importance and the impacts that these types of experiences that I've learned in summer camping with my Boy Scout troop, have had on my life. In fact, a few years ago, I was at summer camp with a few friends. We were on a canoeing trip, and late in the day, during the canoeing trip, when the majority of the camp had gotten to the dock at the edge of a river, it was clear that one canoe wasn't going to come back anytime soon. Everyone had waited on the last canoe for several minutes, and no one knew where the two last remaining campers were. So when the park ranger asked for a camper to come with him to go canoe out, find those campers, and then bring them safely back to shore, the camp counselor said, well, bring Larry, he's a Boy Scout. The camp counselor didn't even know that actually earlier that summer I had earned my canoe and merit badge. So I was able to assist the park ranger, do my part, making sure we found those campers and brought them back to the dock, nice, safe, and on time. But that's just one of the literally thousands of stories of Boy Scouts helping people out. Whether it's a small everyday thing like what I did, or if it's a story like Alex Lambert from North Carolina, who saved two of his friends from drowning in a lake, or Jem Garden from John Gooden, my apologies, from Starksville, Mississippi, who guided a vehicle to safety while its driver suffered through a seizure. People's lives are positively impacted each and every day because of the skills that Scouting teaches America's young men. But it's not just the skills that are important that Scouting teaches, but it's also the character. Now, I'm just going to ask you to take a moment and visualize in your head what you think a Boy Scout would look like. What comes to mind when you think of a Boy Scout? What I would assume would pop up, probably pops up for most people, is a kid in the woods, maybe camping, tying knots, or starting a fire, something like that. Well, while these are all pretty true images of the Boy Scouts of America, the core mission of Scouting is to actually you can see it on your cards, actually, it's to prepare young people to make ethical and moral decisions throughout the course of their lifetime by instilling in them the values of the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. The Scout Oath reads, on my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout Law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. And the Scout Law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And what parents don't want their teenage sons to be obedient, cheerful, and clean? So let's revisit that image. I hope you're now looking at a young man who embodies the Scout Law and is kind and courteous to his neighbors. A young man who has sworn on his honor countless times to do his duty to God and to the United States of America and to just be helpful to others. This is a young man who lives by the Scout slogan and does a good turn daily. I hope you're now looking at a young man who's working effectively with a group of Scouts, a group of peers or adults, and is making ethical decisions when a situation arises. Because that's the image of the countless young men that Scouting has touched. As for my personal development, these days I no longer try to be the boss of everybody, except for my little brother and sister. But what I try to be is an effective leader among my peers who lives out the Scout Oath and the Scout Law in my leadership and in my day-to-day life. Truthfully, I hope to someday be a future leader who's going to have a positive impact on the lives of a lot of people. And when that time comes, I will always remember the pivotal role that the Boy Scouts of America have played in shaping me to become that individual. So on behalf of myself and all of the other leaders of tomorrow who are going to develop our skills and our character with the Boy Scouts of America, I'd like to thank you all so much for your commitment to our futures, the future of the community, and the future of our nation. Thank you.